Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for our little get-together of a prayer. No matter what religion you're part of, it doesn't really matter. No matter if you are part of no religion, what we're here to do today is pray to all sorts of gods to hope a miracle happens tomorrow, because that's the only thing that can save us. Nothing but a miracle will do the job. Quite frankly, I'm not even sure a miracle big enough has ever happened in history. And not because a 2-0 deficit, but a miracle big enough in terms of who we are playing, who we are, how bad everything is. I mean, our owner apparently goes into the dressing room after every game he does that. And then after last game, he apparently ripped to shreds one of our new signings. Brilliant. I mean, what a situation we are in, isn't it? Isn't it fun? Hey, I mean, Chelsea never give you a boring day. That's at least something. We will get into the details of that, a few updates on managerial situations as well. But a lot to get through. Lewis, I'll start with you. I don't think I've spoke to you since the Real Madrid game. We both knew that it weren't really going to go very well. The result, if anything, was arguably the best thing about the night, because we only lost by 2 goals. And the way we played, we deserved to lose by about 7. And that's the most concerning thing for me, because it was bad under Potter. But when I think back to the last game under Potter against Villa, how we actually played and why we lost in terms of individual mistakes, but actually playing quite well, creating chances, but missing them. And then I look at the last 3 games under Lampard. Oh my days, are we bad. We were the worst team against Wolves. We were destroyed by Real Madrid. And we were destroyed by Brighton to a level where I've very rarely seen us destroyed like that at Stamford Bridge. That hasn't happened often in decades. We're not talking last few weeks, months, or years. We're talking decades where it hasn't been this bad. So then you hear the manager coming out basically saying that the players aren't fit enough. Now, he was asked about that in the press conference today and said, no, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. But he's still saying the players aren't fit enough. And I'm like, is anything right at this football club at the moment? Honestly, well, where do you even start? But I mean, do you even have this much hope? I saw the title of your stream where it's just give me some Eden Hazard minutes. That tells me you don't have a lot of hope, do you?
That's the only reason why I'm going tomorrow. I'd say for the football, but 3 goals from Chelsea, a team with 1 goal in their last 4 or 5 games. I'm expected to think we can put the ball in the back of the net 3 times. Even if Madrid help us out with an own goal, I don't think we're going to score 2.
Nope.
So it's pointless. They're probably going to play a back 4 as well, because Chilwell and Koulibaly are out.
Yep.
So it's going to be even worse.
Yep.
I expect nothing. I just hope I don't still come out of it disappointed like I've done the last 4 or 5 games. But yeah, no hope. No hope. Sorry, guys. I've tried to have hope numerous times this season. Every time I've done it, I felt like an idiot about 10 to 15 minutes in. I've seen some people say they have a little feeling that we can win. It's only because we're Chelsea and we've had those European nights at the Bridge. This club right now is the furthest thing from Chelsea that I've ever seen following the club. So I don't expect nothing. I expect absolutely nothing. Just give me 5-10 Hazard minutes off the bench and I'm happy.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about the own goal. Hazard coming off the bench is about our only hope for that happening as well. Do you know what I mean? If they start Hazard, we stand the chance. He might score a hat-trick of own goals.
With our luck, he'll score the 4th goal or some madness.
Yeah.
And I'll feel so conflicted.
Or that. Yeah, there you go. Pice, let me come to you. Obviously, we're in misery land and have been in misery land for a long time. But especially the last 10 days, I mean, they have been extra levels of misery. I didn't speak to you after the midweek game, after the weekend's game against Brighton. But do you agree that was one of the worst destructions of Chelsea at Stamford Bridge that you've ever witnessed? Not necessarily in result, but in terms of the game itself. We were second best for the whole game in every moment of the game. And that never happens. No matter what bad season we have, no matter what bad... me and Damesh were speaking before we went live. It was when we lost 3-0 to Bournemouth at home. I'm like, yeah. But I can't remember it, I'll be honest. But I don't remember us being necessarily destroyed and dominated for that whole game. It was just a ridiculous game where we conceded 3 goals and couldn't score. Like when we lost to Villa 2-0 a few weeks ago. A little bit like that. But we're a team... And Brighton are good, don't get me wrong. We're 11th, so, But... I just can't remember us ever getting destroyed like this. Not ever, but other than Bayern at home under Lampard as well. I can't even, City never did this to us. United, I can't remember ever doing this to us. Liverpool most certainly have never done it to us. It's crazy how bad it got, isn't it?
Yeah, it was really, really bad. I've not seen a game like that in a long time. Some of the football Brighton played was just absolutely mind blowing. Honestly, I thought they were good, but no, they are a very, very good team, and they have a lot of very good players, and they made us look like mugs from minute 1 to minute 90. We had absolutely no structure in our play. We was just aimlessly pressing for just. It was just embarrassing. Like the first 2 minutes in, our three centre mids were inside the Brighton box. Like literally, it was just. I've never seen a lack of structure like that in a football match ever. We had absolutely no idea what we was doing. The fans were getting frustrated with Kepa, even though it wasn't his fault. Like from goal kicks, we were all shouting like, "Don't kick it long," because there was Sterling and Pulisic, and he had literally no one to aim for, right? But every time we played out the back, the players didn't want the ball. It was unbelievable. Not what I can't remember. Maybe Mudryk. Other than that, I don't think a player played good. Like it was, even Badiashile was getting tossed around. It was just, I couldn't, honestly, my eyes were just like, wow. It really was the lowest of the low. It was quite embarrassing. It was humiliating to be there and watch that. They had so many chances. I think they had 26 shots. I think I read it's the most recorded shots in the Premier League era at Stamford Bridge. That just goes to show
by an opponent.
how bad it actually was by an opponent. So,
if Potter was still in charge, I think there would have been a riot and fans would have stormed the pitch. If we played this bad under Potter ever, I think there would have been a riot.
Yeah, I got to say as well, like for the whole like Lampard homecoming and that, I don't think people actually really cared that much. Like, they even had like a banner and stuff for him, and it was just like, sort of who cares type thing, So even that, like I said to you the other week, like the fans have kind of, I think they know it's a PR appointment, and that's the thing. It's like, it's nice to see him back, but holy shit, like the season's fucked. Everyone knows he's not a great manager as much as we love him, so like. Yeah, it's just the whole like we're just going to the games just because we're Chelsea fans. Like we're not hoping for anything. Like we're just going there. Like
the games are a link up now. That's it.
Yeah, literally, like people like during the game are like I've never really seen it, but I can like see around me people are just talking to each other. When Brighton have a corner or something like that, I'm just like,
it's
wow,
an expensive chat to be having.
It
ain't cheap.
It is. I mean, it's costing me £60 for the ticket tomorrow night, and plus travel, plus fare, and all that. So.
And you're Matthew Harden. Now imagine being on a West Stand.
It's not easy at the moment. It's really not. It's fucking painful. That's what it is.
It really is. And we haven't even got to the most crazy part of what apparently Todd Boehly got up to in the dressing room. Lewis, I'm not sure if you're aware, but apparently it's all your fault.
I've seen Bobby in my chats as well.
So
it's my fault.
The part that I find weird is why you are more at fault than like me or Pice, because surely in general, in terms of supporting, like, okay, well, these are new owners. I think all of us had, I've had people tell me as well, well, why there was this, everybody was against the Ricketts, and now we're like, Boehly's doing essentially what we were all scared of the Ricketts would do type thing, and now people aren't losing their shit as much as they should. And I'm like, well, two differences here. Number two, there is still a vision. Now, whether you think that vision is good or not, I see a logic in that vision. It's clearly not working at the moment. I think they messed up many things. We've discussed that plenty on these streams. But what I still think is important now, like with the Ricketts thing was before they bought us. Now, Boehly has bought us, and there's literally a clause in the contract that he's not allowed to sell the club for 10 years. I'm not sure if there is any potential clauses in there that mean like if it gets so and so bad, or if the Chelsea supporters trust or the pitch owners have like a vote of, well, no confidence, I guess, for the new owners, maybe then it can happen sooner. I don't know if that is the case. But as far as we publicly know, we can't change anything for the 10 years anyway. So what benefit do you have from purely shitting on the ownership and saying it's never going to be good? I think that everyone's absolutely fair to criticize plenty, and us on this channel have criticized plenty about Boehly and the ownership so far. But to sit here and say, well, we're always going to be shit, well, what benefit do you have from that? You're just going to make your own life miserable. But,
I just think it's way too early to say Boehly's the biggest issue that we have and we need to get rid of him. It's been 1 year and we were going to go backwards anyway. Obviously not this bad, 11th place, I get that. But what we want to say Potter was the problem. We want to say the players are the problem, but then we want to ignore all of that and just say, no, Boehly's the actual real issue, not the 11 players on the pitch.
It's just all of it. It's just all of it. Potter, Boehly, Lampard, the players, Tuchel to some extent.
Boehly's culpable. Fair enough. Like I've said, he shouldn't have sacked Tuchel so quickly. Shouldn't have been so quick to hire Potter. You could argue maybe you shouldn't have sacked Potter without a direct replacement coming in, but it was only going to get more and more toxic under Potter. And I still maintain that we wouldn't have won any of these games under him anyway.
I think we might as well have just waited for after Madrid at least.
I get it, but I just
Lampard for these last 3 games after Madrid knock us out. No one has any hope for anything. So you might.
But here's my thing. It's like we either lose and it gets more toxic under Potter because everyone wants him gone, or we lose and no one cares because we know Lampard's only here for 8 games. Either way, we're losing. So,
but I still would have given us a better chance with Potter. Still a small chance, but a better chance.
I get that, but he was so boneheaded sometimes with some of the decisions he made, game in, game out. Like, do we beat Wolves with Potter? I don't think so. Do we beat Madrid? No. Do we beat Brighton? No. Are we going to beat Madrid with Potter? No. Brentford? No. Arsenal? No. United? No. City? No.
I think there's a chance Wolves under Potter. Or certainly we wouldn't have been the worst team for the whole game. That's all I'll say. And also, the consumer trust, that is some of the funniest shit I've read all day.
Yeah, that was fucking
consumer trust. Especially for account, what do they have? 150 followers, and they apparently represent millions from abroad. Now that is even funnier. Dharmesh, let me get to you. Thank you for being back on. I appreciate it as always, bro. You and me were talking just before we went live. It's just miserable at the moment. But taking this into tomorrow, is there anything that gives you even a remote bit of hope? Because there's nothing that gives me a remote bit of hope.
Yeah, do you know what? Before the first leg, I was sort of optimistic. I don't know why. Don't ask why. I was a little bit optimistic going into the first leg, thinking about our sort of European history, the type of players that we've got in the team, some of the so-called leaders that we've got. I know we've got very few of them, but the ones that turn up on these Champions League nights, I had my sort of trust in them, i.e. like Thiago Silva and N'Golo Kante as the 2 main ones. They obviously played somewhat well in that first leg, I thought. Obviously not to their proper standard, but I thought they did
not
okay,
at least
to be honest.
In my opinion. I know you slightly disagree with that, but yeah.
Yeah, but now with the Brighton game on Saturday, just dominated for 90 minutes, to be fair. Like who was the home team, who was the away team, and which team was generally like in a relegation battle, which team was sort of fight for Europe? It's mad how the things have changed. Like I remember a few years back, Brighton were that team.
Like what, 15 minutes in, we had 22% possession. 22%.
It's a joke, honestly, bro. It's a joke. Like we're known for like sort of possession football over the past like few years since Sarri's come in, and like to be dominant like that against Brighton, man. Like with all due respect, like it's Brighton Football Club. They're not even a big club. Like
and they've lost all of their best players in the last 12 months.
Exactly.
Like, they lost Cucurella. They lost Trossard. They lost. Well, they kept Caicedo.
Bissouma, they lost as well. Yeah.
Sorry.
They lost Bissouma as well.
And Bissouma. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. And obviously,
I'm into that.
It's honestly a joke. But going into tomorrow, bro, like just like I hate to say it, let's just give it everything, man. From wise to Graham Potter, let's just give it all, man. That's it. That's literally it, man. See what happens. I definitely want to see us play with the back 3 again tomorrow. With all due respect to the back 4, I don't really think it suits us at all, to be honest, with the set of players that we got without a proper DM. So that's just my opinion.
Hold the lineup chat for a bit because we'll get into that in loads of detail later.
Yeah.
Let's get to what's kind of is elephant in the room the right word to use? I'm not even sure anymore at this point. But I want to bring up a couple of these things here. Let's start off with the slightly more, reasonable parts of this story happening. So I'm not sure if we discussed it on here, but we learned after the game that Boehly, Egbali, and also Hans-Jörg, which I'm like, I don't like the guy, just purely because of how old he is. And I know that's maybe harsh, but bro, we're a serious institution. We should not have 80-plus-year-old people in charge. I'll say it as it is. They should be in old people's homes and not in charge of football clubs. Or in their own homes, if they can handle that. But most certainly not in charge of football clubs. That's for damn sure. Regardless, journalists keep ignoring the fact that Wiz was there anyway. So here we get the report from Matt Law initially saying Todd Boehly has entered the dressing room after Brighton, described the situation as embarrassing. He left no doubts that him, Eghbali and Wiz had spent £600 million to win and that the players were falling short of expectations. Now, Kepa was the player that was part of the press conference today alongside Lampard or before Lampard. And he actually said that Boehly turns up in the dressing room after every game. Now, I'm not sure if he only meant home games because at away games, this seems even more baffling to me. But after every game. Now, that was already the first shocking bit. Lampard said he doesn't have a problem with that. If anything, what I found interesting that Lampard said as a player, he, if anything, found it a bit annoying that Abramovich wasn't there more often. And when he was, they liked it. So I'm not sure if comes a point where it gets too much. But I guess if they're there every week, it's not really going to ever have a negative effect either, unless they shout at them every week. Then it's useless. And then where's the next bit of that? And then obviously Boehly continued to apparently say, yeah, Real Madrid is our last chance. I'm like, does he have so little understanding of football to understand that, like, you can't even say that anymore? Like, we are so far off achieving this. Like, even going into this 0-0, there would be basically no chance. But we are 2-0 down as it is. Like, you can't just say this is our only chance to keep the season alive, bro. The season is dead. The season is long been dead. But now, and I'm sorry I'm rattling through this. I'll get your thoughts as on the whole thing as a whole. But now I get to the serious stuff, right? In the Todd Boehly and Eghbali dressing room, this now has come from Jacob Steinberg, not Matt Law, meeting. It is understood that one senior player signed for a large fee in the past 12 months was singled out for heavy criticism. That player, whose identity is not being disclosed, is believed to be disillusioned with the situation and cut a disgruntled figure in training. Now, and I'll start off with that question, and we'll get into detail what you think about that whole thing. I'll start with you, Pies. Is this a case of Boehly losing the plot, or is this a case of Boehly showing, actually, in a way, as much as he maybe overstepped a certain line, actually showing that he cares a lot? How do you take this? Before we get into detail of who it is and what we make of that itself.
Yeah, well, the first thing I want to say is that, you know, even if this came from David Ornstein, Fabrizio, or whatever, we don't actually know if this was true. But let's just say it is true. And I mean, it's definitely believable, right? Because, you know, he's obviously been pissed off. He spent a lot of money.
For an hour, apparently. So, like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, spent a lot of money. Obviously pissed off. I don't know what I think about this, because I wouldn't like to be singled out in front of everybody. Like, I would be pretty pissed off, because even if I'm a new signing, you know, there's been pretty much everyone has been shit this season. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we probably have, like, you know, we've got to award a player of the year, by the way, for this year. Like, and it's just ridiculous. Like, every player's been pretty shit at times, you know. Maybe, you know, Thiago Silva's probably been, you know, the one that has had the least bad games, I would say. But yeah, I don't know what I think of this. You know, on one hand, it's like, oh, you know, he really cares. Like, look at him, he's going mental, sort of thing. But on the other hand, it's like, he's just lost the plot. Like, you can't be doing that in front of all the players if this happened. And, you know, like, the wording is interesting. Like, you know, believed to be disillusioned, cut a disgruntled figure in training. I mean,
to be fair, I think Sterling looks disillusioned at the best of times, not just when he gets shouted at.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go on to who we think it is, but I don't know, man. Like,
I mean, let's just get straight into it. In my opinion, it's almost guaranteed to be Sterling. And I'll explain my reason, obviously, if anyone has a more logical explanation. Now, RD, you are wrong, because it says signing in the last 12 months, so it can't be Kepa. Cucurella didn't play on Saturday, so it would be totally illogical for Boehly to have a go at Cucurella all of a sudden. Joao Felix, yes, he came on as a sub, but we are known that we want to sign him permanently. So if he did that, well, then he's even more of a moron than we all think he is already, because you can't blame and shout at a player. Well, we don't know if he shouted, but he certainly heavily criticized, apparently, that you want to sign, because that's never going to happen, right? Koulibaly is injured, so it can't have been him either. So which other, and Mudryk was maybe alongside Gallagher our only acceptable player in the last game. So it would have been crazy. And he didn't really play much until Saturday anyway. So from that perspective, surely the only logical answer to who this could be is Raheem Sterling, in my opinion. But Damesh, I'll ask you the same question as I asked Pies. Is it Boehly losing the plot, or is it Boehly showing more passion than we arguably gave him credit for?
Also, by the way, just for Darmesh answers, I'm pretty sure in the report it doesn't state that it was actually Boehly. It could have been Igbali, by the way. So, because he was in there first, so
Okay.
yeah, it could have been him. But
well, I'm not sure if I'd rate. I would prefer it if it was Igbali, because at least if it was Igbali, I can't imagine any of the players sat there giggling. I feel like if Boehly started blaming one individual, I feel like, I don't know, you'd see like Fofana in the corner sat there giggling. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. And yeah, Mudryk is also not as such. They wouldn't deem him a senior player, you know.
I heard it was reported, but that was Sterling.
No, I think we're just all assuming that from these sentences here, just because he's the only one that really makes sense. But let Dams answer for a second. I'll get to you after that, Lewis. So, what do you make of it, Damesh? Like, how do you see it?
Yeah, I think it's kind of Boehly losing the plot, because if I was a player, like if my sort of owner came up to me and was trying to teach me how to play football, like I'll be real, I'll be pissed off. Like I wouldn't have that. I'd rather it come from my manager, if I'm being honest. And we've seen the sort of credibility that Frank Lampard's obviously built as a player at the club, and it should be him that should be having a go at these players, not Todd Boehly, in my opinion. So I think Boehly is losing the plot a little bit, and he's also just panicking as well, because he's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll bring Frank Lampard in. Things might change. We might be able to get a new manager bounce, but obviously there's no bounce. There's literally three games, 3 L's. So I think he is panicking a little bit and over passionate in a way as well, and trying to take control of things like he sort of did in the summer in a way with the sort of the scattergun sort of summer signings that we had. So yeah, that's what I think of it all, to be honest. And it should really come from Frank Lampard if anyone's having a go at players, not Todd Boehly, in my opinion.
Do you? Because I feel like if Lampard loses his shit at them, well, there's no chance they rally behind him for any game.
But I feel like if it's coming from the manager, I feel like it's more incentive to do well, because he's obviously in charge of the tactics, the style of play, and everything like that, substitutions and all that. And Todd Boehly's
Lampard is in charge.
Bro. Lampard is not in charge of the tactics. Kepa is in charge of the tactics.
We have no tactics.
Isn't there? Yeah.
Bro, that's one thing. That's one thing I didn't mention when I started off this stream. I could not believe what I was seeing. Kepa, literally, when the game paused, he got Chalobah, Zakaria, Sterling, and someone else over next to him, and was delivering tactics. I was like,
and Sterling had the capacity to disagree. At least it seemed like he was disagreeing. Excuse yourself, Sterling.
Sounds like we got all the shit players yesterday together and was like, yo, you all need to just pattern up.
Yeah, exactly. But to be fair, maybe instead of Lampard, we should have just made Kepa player manager until the end of the season. Do you know what I mean?
He did that with Sorry as well, didn't he? Yeah.
Exactly. He already tried back then, so you might as well have given him a chance. I mean, I see someone here saying they think it's Aubameyang. I mean, that would be mental. The guy hasn't got a chance all season.
Are you going to be venting at someone who has... He's had like 5 minutes of game time all year.
Yeah.
He didn't cost a large fee either.
Here's the shout. Could it be Zakaria, do you guys think? Obviously, it's not big money.
No, he's loan, isn't he? We didn't sign him.
Oh, shit, yeah, loan. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
it'll be
I'm sure it's Sterling. It's Sterling.
Because surely it can't be Enzo either. Like,
none of the other new signings.
How is Enzo
and Enzo's the last player that anyone would be getting.
Fofana.
I mean, I guess you could maybe say
Fofana was one of our better players
because Fofana didn't have a good game, but I
thought like it's a low bar, but he was our best defender on Saturday. Low bar, I get it, but I thought he was one of our only shining lights.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I mean, if you count Chilwell as a defender, I thought he might have been better, but not much.
Chilwell was a fat pack of arse.
Well, he was, but so was Fofana. They all was. Let's be honest. Let's not be
low bar. What were we even arguing about?
It's a mentality thing as well. They just checked out as well, to be honest. But,
exactly,
yeah.
And they're not even fit.
No, exactly. We'll get to that in a minute. But before that, Lewis, what do you make of this whole situation? Like, that it's Sterling specifically, but also that Boehly does this in the first place. Now, I haven't asked actually Pies and Damesh what they think of him going to the dressing room according to Kepa after every game. But being in there for an hour and apparently singling out one player to heavily criticize, that just seems like, firstly, dreadful man management. Secondly, the pressure seriously getting to them. But also, like I say, it kind of shows like, it shows passion. It shows, how we all complained over the. Oh, I'm not sure about you, Lewis, but certainly Pice and a few others that have been on these streams were like, we are Chelsea. We need to have these demands, especially when Potter said, like, we need to accept the result, blah, blah, blah. They were like, we're Chelsea. We need to demand winning. And I guess the whole thing that, Boehly called it embarrassing and everything. So I guess he is doing that. And in a way, I'm like, well, he bought Sterling for a lot of money. He's paying him 350 grand a week or 325, whatever it is. If I was paying the guy 350 grand a week, I would also be furious. I'll be perfectly honest. Now, I'd be furious with all the others too. But so what do you make of it? I guess, like, I still don't like the fact if he argued he singled an individual out. I just don't think that's right. Not with how our season has gone.
I've got no issue with him doing it. I see a lot of people who said that they don't really know why he's getting involved. But Roman did the exact same thing. Mikel used to talk about how he used to scream at them in Russian after games and losses and stuff like that. It happens. Like, fair play to him. Shows that he cares. Shows that he gives a shit about the performance on the pitch, and it's not just all about the financials with him, which, to be honest, I've never thought was the case with him anyway.
No, me neither.
But I do agree with you on the Sterling thing. Shouldn't be singling him out, but you can criticize him with a bunch of others. Like, if you're going at Sterling, you should be going at Zakari. Based on that game alone, you should have gone at about 8 players specifically. You could have gone at a lot of players who have been here before and still not done anything. The likes of Ziyech, the likes of a Pulisic, the likes of a Havertz, for example, Kovacic.
Well, Havertz on Saturday would have been a bit harsh considering he wasn't in the squad.
Yeah, but you know what? Guilty by association. He's as guilty as everybody else. But the point is, not just him either. There's a bunch of players that you should be getting at, not just Sterling. Sterling was poor, but like, I'm also sitting there thinking, why the hell did we play Sterling up front?
Yeah.
What you want to hoof long balls up to 5'5" Sterling? What's he gonna do? Nothing. So I get it. Still not a defense for him.
Big BA. Come on.
Huh?
You're trolling.
You're trolling. There's no chance. But yeah, the point still stands. Like, a group of players should be getting all of that. You should be there for an hour gunning at half the team, not just Sterling and then a bunch of others. But I'd be very surprised that wasn't the case. Like, what are you doing there for an hour then? It's not just an hour of ripping on Sterling now. He must have gone at other players too.
Well, I don't know. I guess what Pi said earlier is obviously important. This is something from in the dressing room. We don't know quite how accurate the information is. By the way, it's Havertz, Kepa, and Thiago Silva who have been nominated for Team of the Season. They're probably, excuse me, none of them are probably going to get it, obviously. Maybe Thiago.
You see why I don't play that shit game anymore?
Yeah, no, exactly that. Same.
Oh my gosh.
At least Havertz can bag goals in FIFA, I guess. Hey,
there you go. No way.
He's not even good in FIFA, I will be honest.
Get out of here, man.
He's not even good in FIFA. Pice, I don't have a thing to... Or do I? Thing to bring this up on screen? What Lampard did? I don't seem to. Maybe I'll go find it quick. But this whole... Let's quickly talk about this whole fitness thing that Lampard spoke about after the Brighton game and the embargo bid for that, which then was released by initially Nizak and Sella. And then Frank kind of, in a way, went against it, but he didn't go against it by saying, no, I didn't mean they're not fit. So I think to clarify in a little bit more detail, what essentially he was getting at is, like, he was asked, like, why does it look like they don't try or whatever effort? And he's like, it's not necessarily effort, but it's like the fitness levels aren't there. But he apparently didn't mean to throw on the pot under the bus. But regardless of whether he tried to do that or not, fact of the matter is, Potter and his coaching staff should be disgraced if our team isn't fit enough. Like, can we... I mean, some people have told me you can still blame it on preseason, but I'm like, it's April. Like, we're 9 months since that preseason. Like, even if you didn't come out of preseason at best fitness, there's no reason to not be at best fitness now. The only people that have maybe a little bit of an excuse in that sense are like a Reece James, maybe a Ben Chilwell, maybe a Thiago Silva, because of injuries, because obviously they have to rest so much to not be injured that I guess they don't have so much time to be in the best shape, I guess. But all the other players, how can you, like, ignore tactics, ignore commitment, ignore ability? If your fitness ain't there, you ain't doing nothing. And not against anybody. We could play Wrexham and they could batter us if we're not fit enough. Like, it's literally the basic of everything. Now, I don't know if, like I say, if the preseason can be blamed for it. I don't know if who is even to blame for preseason? Is it just the ownership before? Is it the vibes that we had with Tuchel in that preseason, with like sending all the wrong players into like the under 21s and then keeping all the wrong players and then losing his mind after the Arsenal game, obviously. So I don't know. I think this is mostly on Potter or Lampard waffling. But to me, if the fitness levels ain't there, that is so disgraceful. That is, I can't even begin to express how disgraceful I find that. Pies. What do you think of that? Like, do you see that as serious as I do?
Yeah, I mean, if they're not fit enough, then that's so bad. Like, I don't know how many days off we had, but Graham Potter seemed to give a lot of days off,
Yeah.
and it just goes back to like my thought as well. It's like with like obviously the medical staff leaving and stuff like that. Like, who's monitoring these players in terms of like simple things like what they're eating and that type of thing as well. Like,
We should have a nutritionist for that. There should be.
I mean, yeah, but it could be a big of a mess than we actually think. Like, if some of these players are unfit, like, I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem like these players are not serious this season. Like, getting in the correct shape to play football. I think there's been a couple that I thought, maybe then, when they come back from injury, obviously that's acceptable. But even, when they're not injured, they don't look up for it, or maybe they're not fit. So yeah, it's not good.
No, I agree. But even that, like, my next question is, I'll take it to Lewis with that. My next question is, we play every 3 days for pretty much all of the season, other than this little spell in January and February. Surely just playing football this much should keep you fit to play football, no? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? I know we have a huge squad and therefore not all of them play regularly. But if Lampard is blaming the performances partly on fitness, then he has to be talking about the players that do play. So even if preseason was bad, even if all sorts of other issues are going on, surely just playing every 3 days in itself should keep you fit enough. Does anyone have our team running stats? Yes, we're one of the lowest in the league, but we were already one of the lowest in the league with Tuchel as well. We're not the lowest, neither under Potter nor under Tuchel. We were a bit higher under Tuchel, but part of that obviously comes from having more possession almost all of the time. That's obviously part of it. You're going to run less if you have the ball, but Man City aren't as low down as we are either, and they have even more of the ball. So what'd you say about that one? But Lewis, what do you make of this idea? Do you think it's Lampard deflecting blame? Do you think it's, and if you don't think it's that, and if it's a genuine thing that we are lacking fitness and physical capability, who do you blame for that?
I don't know. Like, this could easily go all the way back to preseason, but I get what you're saying. We've had so many games, so many fixtures that we should be fit, but how many times have you said this season about 30-minute FC and Chelsea start off well, but then they just completely peter off? That kind of plays a part, in my opinion.
Yep.
I'm not surprised by it, especially with the amount of days off Potter would give after games. And
yep.
Didn't we have a mid-season trip to Dubai or something? I don't remember. I feel like we did.
Yeah, no, we did after the World Cup, before the season kicked off again.
Maybe that would have played a part too. I think just the
mentality. You go on a mid-season trip to gain fitness, right? Like, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, but like, Chelsea ain't done a thing right this season, so I'm not surprised that it didn't really work. I don't know. I'm not too surprised hearing this, but it just makes me feel even more that we should just be playing a back five. I don't know why we were playing a back four in league games and trying to do this high pressing sort of system with players that can't even press. So yeah. I'm not too surprised.
But they don't understand how to press as a team. Like, I'm still so baffled by how we played in the last game, where like we pressed with 6 players. 6. Even Enzo and Zakaria pressed. But the back 4 stayed in our own half. I'm like, how can you press? You leave a gap of 50 yards where Brighton just strolled through, and then you're shocked that we can't get a hold of the game? Sorry, but what is this management, man? Even if the players are idiots. As soon as you see that happening, the manager needs to tell them to stop doing that, like, instantly. It's just a joke. It's just an absolute joke. But I mean, Damesh, Clutch, I guess, also brings up a somewhat of a point. Is it we aren't fit enough, or are we too tired because we played too much? And that's why Potter did give them all those days off. But like, we do that every year, and no manager has ever said that. Like, we had less games than most other seasons, let's be honest, because we got knocked out of each cup in the first round we played in it. So, like, we had less games than every other season so far. And also some of the players, like, we didn't have a lot of players that went far in the World Cup. Like, Enzo obviously made the final, Ziyech made the semi-final and then small final, and Kovacic made the small final. All the others were knocked out early anyway. So, like, they had some time off. They were, like, chilling. They were vibing, going on holidays. They were all, like, chilling in Dubai and all sorts. And some of the players didn't even go to the World Cup. So, like, again, we played less games than before. So you can't exactly blame that, can you? But, Damesh, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I agree with what you guys have said, to be honest. And just to add on to that as well, I think it's a factor of not playing enough at the same time as well. I know it's kind of weird having not enough games and stuff, because you'd assume that the players will be fit enough with playing less games. But I feel like if you have more games, I feel like you're more sharper and more fitter as well. Like we've seen with how Man City have sort of been this season. We've seen with Liverpool last season. I know obviously they didn't go on to win the Prem or the Champions League, but we saw how well they were playing under that sort of like every 3 or 4 days, staying sharp constantly. Recovery time was perfect as well for them. But yeah, I think it's a combination of stuff. I think injuries has played a part as well to it as well. The fact that we've had a lot of injuries this season, players coming back, players obviously dropping down injured as well during games. We've seen that loads this season as well. And this just getting back up to speed, to be honest. And yeah, it totally reflects on the pitch as well for the whole season that I can't remember a genuine performance where, but yeah, this player's at least putting 100% effort regardless of the result.
I mean, maybe Gallagher, but it's only ever Gallagher. No one else.
Even Mason. I know. Obviously, we praise Mason Mount for like pressing and stuff, but even his pressing this season's been like very off as well. So yeah, I think it's a combination of things, to be honest. And yeah, it's just if Frank Lampard's scoring that out, he has to be drilling into these players, man, because like, yeah, it definitely needs to change. I know obviously there's only a few weeks till the season's over, but majority of these players will still be here next season. So we just have to sort of try and build some fitness up again and fix our medical team up again, man, because yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, Clutch, I think he's kind of discussing it with somebody else in the chat, but I think what essentially he's getting at is, could parts of the reason for not being fit enough be that we have so many players, therefore not that many players play regularly? But I'm not even, can you even say that that's true? Like, for how many players does that apply to, really? Right? When you think about it, because the players that play most of the time, when they are fit, they play most of the time. Like when Fofana's been fit, he's played all the time. When Thiago has been fit, he's played all the time. When Reece has been fit, he's played all the time. When Chile has been fit, he's played all the time. Cucurella has played enough as well to be fit. You know, Kovacic has played all the time when he was fit. Kante, now that he's fit, playing all the time. Jorginho played all the time until he left. Like, Havertz plays all the time. I guess and Felix plays all the time now. Enzo plays all the time now. Like, the only ones who can really say that about are like a Pulisic, a Ziyech. You can't say it about Gallagher because he's one of the only ones that does look fit enough. So, like, who does this apply to, right? If that's what you're getting at, Clutch, because it's not as many as we think of, because the ones that once they're fit, they all play regularly. And what I like this whole match fitness. So how do you think preseason works, mate? Because you obviously have a point to some extent, but like, so how does a Premier League team that gets knocked out of each cup do that then? Because they don't play in Europe if they're lower down in the league, and if they're knocked out of the cups early, where's their match fitness coming from if our players apparently don't have enough game time to get it? You know, think about the things you're saying. We're not the only team in this league. Not every team is in Europe. And what was another thing I saw here? The World Cup made it harder to cram games in. Bro, we had 2 weeks off in February just randomly. Like, we certainly didn't have the games too crammed. I mean, bloody hell. But yeah, let's quickly bring up a little bit of manager news. Not much to it because they constantly just keep repeating the same stuff, really. But yeah, senior members of Chelsea's legal team have contacted the equivalent of Bayern Munich's to discuss what it would take in terms of compensation for Julian Nagelsmann, because if people aren't aware, as much as Bayern Munich let go of Julian Nagelsmann, they didn't sack him and fire him and pay him a compensation. They just basically suspended him in a way. Like, they're still paying him every week, his normal wages. He's just not in charge of the team. So if we want him while his contract is still valid, we need to sort something with Bayern, which apparently, because we rejected a multiple of their bids for Anthony Barry, they might not like too much, but, if that is the case, what can we do, really? But yeah, obviously yesterday we had the news from Fabrizio that Nagelsmann is still first choice or favorite, whatever else. Yeah, I said it. I tweeted it yesterday. I'm like, well, he bloody better be, because Enrique would have had no problem taking over right now. So if he was the first choice, it would have been even more stupid that we have Lampard right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying. I don't know and think there is much more to add. We've discussed the managerial situation plenty. So unless any of you boys have something to shout about, then please tell us. But yeah, I don't really think so. What we need to do, though, because we didn't get to it last week before the first leg, is the quiz for Chelsea versus Real Madrid. I think they're basically the same questions, just flipped because we didn't use them. So let's get into this and see how much longer everyone is still here for what we do after that. So let's start with that. We obviously know Lewis is going to battle all of us because he seems to know all the answers. So let's see how this one goes and start with the first question. Question number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, get involved. Subscribe, by the way, if you haven't already, and hit that like button. I massively appreciate it. But yeah, question 1. It's no secret that tomorrow presents a large mismatch in terms of form, league position, and amount of points. No biggie. As in 2012, the difference in points between us and Barca, well, we can't really see it, unfortunately. But the answer 1 is 15. Number 2 is 27. Number 3 is 25, I think. And number 4
I think number 2 is 20, and the Barca points total is 27.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah. 15, 20, 25, 30. And tomorrow, that difference is... Okay, so how many points do Real Madrid have, and how many points do we have? We have 39. Real Madrid are... I think 12 or 15 points behind Barcelona or something like that. So how many points would they be on? Probably on, like, I would guess around 75, maybe. So therefore, we are on nearly 40, but that would be 35. So they can't be. So I'm saying 30. It's got to be 30. Because if we have 35 points, Real Madrid can't be second and have less than 70 points, surely.
I just think it's the lowest one because... we've been
bro. 15 points. That would mean Madrid have 54 points and they're second.
No, it's 30.
I think it means the highest.
So the biggest.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll say 30 as well. Lewis says 30. Damesh, would you agree with that?
I'll go 27. I'll just go 37. It's 27, sorry, not 37.
27 ain't option. 27 was just the difference between us and Barca at the
time.
So
wait, what options again? 15,
it's
20?
It's a little bit over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just go 30 then. Yeah.
Right. Pice, you going to go 32 or something different?
Fuck knows. I don't know. I'll have a random guess and go 25. I don't know.
Apparently, it's only 20. See, I'm going to fraud check good old Bertram, because really,
to be fair,
genuinely, I mean, it's not. I guess he made this before for last week, so at the time was 20. Now it's 23. But yeah, they're on 62 points. They're on 62 points, and they are second. Wow. Any which way. All right, we move on. Question number 2. Something with the layout didn't quite go right here, unfortunately for Bertrand. But hey, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Question 2. Rudiger said in his post-match interview the team he played in last season was nothing like the team they face tomorrow over last week. He may be right. As how many players in the squad versus Wolves were in the squad against Real Madrid away last season?
In the squad? Wow, that's going to be...
I mean, it's a bit...
That's going to be quite high then if it's the whole squad, isn't it?
The whole squad? Oh,
yeah. Because obviously Kante was left out for fitness reasons. Thiago was left out, I think, or was he on the... No, he was still injured at the time.
Kante played, didn't he?
Not at Wolves.
No, not against Wolves, he didn't, no.
Oh, okay, I read the question wrong.
Yeah. So, but I would still say at least 10, though.
I'm gonna say 8.
Was Mount in the squad against Wolves? No, he wasn't either.
No.
Okay, that does lower it. Okay.
Was he not on the bench?
No, I don't. I think that was the last one. He was not on the bench, and then he was on the bench against Madrid and Brighton.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think you might have a point with that. I think it's between 8 or 10. Pice, what are you gonna go for?
I'm gonna go 10.
All right, Damesh?
I'll go 15 because surely it'll still be higher than that. considering the amount of players that we have at our club. Like,
I mean, we can go through it if we want to. Kepa, Mendy, James, Chilwell.
Cucurella.
No, Cucurella weren't here then.
Was he not?
No, because we signed him last summer, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I missed with the question as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
no, to Madrid under Tuchel last year.
Oh, I thought it was this season. Oh, never
No,
mind.
no.
Okay, yeah.
The Wolves
Sorry.
compared to Madrid last year. So obviously Lukaku isn't here anymore. Werner isn't here anymore.
Yeah.
Havertz is Christensen isn't here anymore. Rudiger isn't here anymore. Jorginho isn't here anymore. And a few players were injured. So I think
Yeah, it's probably 8 or 10 then. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
There you go. All right, I'm gonna say 8. Let's see what it is.
Yeah.
It is 8. There you go. Fair enough. Question number 3. Bertrand, what happened with the layout here? Anyway, question 3. It might look unlikely tomorrow, but all's not lost as Chelsea, like a bad night out, struggle to score. This has been our Achilles heel all season. But exactly how unlucky have we been? By how many goals have we underperformed our XG?
Yeah.
3, 6, 9, or 13. Underperformed our XG. I assume that's what it says behind this. But
we do miss a lot.
It's got to be 9 or 13, surely.
Yeah.
Has to be. What were you saying, Dams? Were you picking?
Yeah, no. I was just saying. Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be quite high because we do miss a lot.
Yeah,
of
but
sitters,
which one
to
you
be fair.
picking? If you pick one.
Yeah, I'll probably pick 9.
All right, Pice. Which one are you picking? Underperforming IXG by how many do you reckon?
Is this all season?
I think so.
No, 9. I think I don't know. Yeah, 9.
I don't know either. Lewis, what would you say? 9 as well? 13 maybe? What are you saying?
Yeah, I think 9's a fair number. Because it's been a couple
I'm gonna say 13, but I'm purely guessing. I was like, oh well, I was right. Wow. That shows enough about our situation, doesn't it? And half of our games we actually struggle to create, not just finish. So the fact that we're still 13 under our XG shows how bad our finishing has been. My days. Clue 1. So we need to now figure out which Chelsea player we're talking about. Usually we never figure out on Clue 1. Sometimes on Clue 2. Often it takes us Clue 3. I'm an attacker who played 33 times for the Blues. Clue number 2. I was signed from another English club.
Oh, is it Aubameyang?
The thing is, we don't. Nah, Aubameyang definitely didn't play 33 times for us.
I mean, okay, yeah.
But obviously, he could be a current player or an ex-player. So that's the difficult part. I mean, do either of you know? Any of you know from 33 games and we signed from another English club? I don't think that means enough. So let's check Clue 3. I cemented my Chelsea legacy here with a special moment here. Okay, that's just Stamford Bridge.
Okay, it's definitely not Aubameyang then.
That's not exactly shocking. 33 games. 33 games and we signed him from an English club.
English club.
No, need more clues. Come on.
Well, we're not getting more clues. So
Oh, what the fuck? Bertrand,
I think that's all the clues we haven't.
Surely there's like you got to give us like
it
an
can't be Torres either. He played so many
What
more
was
than
the second
33 games for us, guys.
What was the
33
second
games is
clue?
less than a league season.
got to give us a position or something. That's
Yeah.
like,
What was the second clue?
That we signed him from another English club. Well, I gave you the answer already.
Oh.
Well, sorry. Denver Bar was. We would have never guessed that anyway. Let's be honest.
I wasn't getting that.
So, well, there you go. Big up Denver Bar, by the way.
Big up
Shout out
Denver.
you. The Chelsea way. All right. So now we're figuring out which clubs, we're figuring out the player by the clubs that they have played for. And this is Cherbourg or Contin. Right. Never heard of that. But anyway, next one. Marseille. All right. Stade de Reims. All right.
I know who it is.
Oh yeah, I know as well. Yeah.
Mendy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely spot
Mendy.
on. Yeah, you're spot on. It's Mendy.
Man, like,
Spot on. I was like, wait, did he play at Marseille? But that's where he was like in the third team or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So he never played for the first team for Marseille, I'm pretty sure. All right, so unfortunately, sorry, we jumped over that maybe a little bit too quickly. Did you actually guess Demba Ba, or did you only say that after it was on screen? You cheeky fuckers.
That's mad if they did.
If you got that, pat yourself on the back because you deserve that. Deserve that. My days. All right, next one. would be good if it worked. Golden goal scorer. 2009, we're talking. Quarter-final in the Champions League, away at Anfield. We won 3-1. Fernando Torres scored for Liverpool. Ivanovic scored twice for Chelsea. Who scored Chelsea's other goal? I have a feeling only Lewis, maybe Damesh, is going to get this because my memory of this game is literally the two Ivanovic headers, and I cannot remember for the life of me who scored the other goal. Because it's Chelsea in 2009, I might just guess Frank Lampard, but I don't know.
It's Didier. It might be Didier, you know.
Oh yeah, it was between Didier and Frank for me. So,
Lewis, any idea?
Yeah.
I know what it is, so I'll just go wait for you guys.
You hold off. You're thinking Didier, Damesh, Pice. Do you have any clue? Otherwise, what would you guess?
I think it's Drogba. I think.
Right.
Oh,
Lewis, who are you saying?
No.
yeah, Drogba.
Was it Drogba? There you go.
As far as I remember, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Fair play. Fair enough. Yeah, I was literally purely guessing by logic who scored a lot of goals for us. So there you go. And I thought maybe because Lampard, obviously new manager, maybe he would pick Lampard, good old Bertram. So there we are. But yeah, this is the quiz. And I know, Lewis, you need to head off in a second. So I'll ask you one thing, and I'll start with that. What formation do you think? Two questions, I guess. What formation do you think we should play tomorrow? And what formation do you think we will play tomorrow?
We should play a back five and just figure out how you format that. But we're going to play a back four, and it's going to look pitiful, but it's whatever. I would like to see us play a back five, maybe do Fofana, Silva, and I don't know, Chalobah. I'd rather us just go for that. I don't know how Chalobah would do on the left-hand side, but I'd rather figure that one out than play a back four because I think it's just suicide going out there with that.
You could theoretically, I guess, play Cucurella left centre back and play Lewis Hall left wing back if you want.
I wouldn't even mind. Cucurella's not bad at left centre back. That's the only position I'd back him in.
Yeah, no, it's the only position you can play him because I would rather him left centre back than play a back five and have Cucurella left wing back because he's never going to attack. He can't cross. So what is the point? Do you know what I mean? Especially if we play a 3-5-2 and Cucurella is a wing back. We're screwed. Not that we're already screwed anyway. And Lewis, the very last one, score prediction. Not that it matters unless you're going to say more than a 2-0. But what is your score prediction?
Probably 3-1 Madrid. Maybe we get a little goal, something to cheer about, but we're losing. We're losing. It's just a question of by how many.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see a win.
Judge, any formation guarantees us going out, let's be honest.
A back five guarantees we go out with dignity. A back four guarantees we go out with shame.
Lewis, who's
I don't
scoring
think
for us,
either
man?
guarantee either, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Fofana header. Let's say that. Fofana header.
Fair play.
Or
Fair
Havertz
play.
penalty.
But yeah, shout out Isaac. I missed the fashion quiz as well. I'll get onto Bertram. We'll do another fashion quiz. Lewis, big shout out to you. Appreciate you for coming on.
Big up, my guys.
This channel link is down in the description. Hey, we'll see you soon.
Take care, and let's try not to get too pissed about the result tomorrow because it's coming anyway.
We'll try.
But yeah,
we'll try.
big up, my guys. Have a good
Appreciate
day,
you,
guys.
mate. Cheers.
Yeah, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. You know, we're still going to get into the team that I've not yet decided. I will, put the boys on the spot in a second whether I think we should pick what we would pick or what we think Frank will pick. Whatever it may be, we will get there in a second. But I'll start with the same question as I put to Lewis for you, Pice. And we're going to use a slightly different thing on here for once because then we have pictures. The problem is we can't use that same one post-game because it doesn't allow me to write their ratings next to their name. So that's why for post-game tomorrow, we will still go back to the other one. I'm just going to try this one out on one occasion. Shout out Pice for sending this to me to give it. And as a tip, try use that maybe. So let's, gentlemen, put it down in the chat once we've gone through whether you like this or not. And we'll go from there. But Pice, same two questions as opposed to Lewis. What do you think? What formation do you think we will play? And what formation would you play?
I think he's going to play a 4-3-3. I would play a 3-4-3, which both I think are on here.
Yep, there you go. And Damesh, what formation do you think we should play and what formation do you think we will play?
Well, I want to see us play a 3-4-3 tomorrow, but I got a feeling Frank will go for the 4-3-3.
Okay. You both of you have now said 3-4-3 is what you would like to see. Before I put anything on the screen, can you, because I want to just hear whether you have actually thought this through to a point that we can build a lineup without questioning your opinions. But who in your mind should be playing left centre back and left wing back? Not having Badiashile available for eligibility, being registered, and not having Chilwell available due to being suspended. So who in your mind should be playing left centre back and left wing back? I'll start with you, Dams.
Forgot I was on mute there.
Because that makes it difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the players that we've got available and stuff. Yeah, Badiashile obviously can't play. I put Fofana left centre back.
All right, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. And then left wing back.
You know what? Let's do what we would play. I'm gonna somewhat agree with you guys. So, you know what? If we have enough time, maybe we'll do one for the 4-back, one for the 3-back. We'll see how quickly we get through it. So hit me, Dubs. Who would you put in those positions?
Oh, what? So for left centre back and left wing back?
Yeah, let's start with those. We'll get to the rest of.
Okay. Yeah, so I'd go for Fofana left centre back, and I know you guys might not like this, the chat might not like it, but it's just something that I want to see for whatever reason. I put Mudryk at left wing back.
Mudryk at left wing back. See, you know, we have to chase.
It's wild.
A 2-0,
I know it's wild, but
we have to chase into 2-0 to be fair. So you might as well, I suppose. And it's not like Madrid attack much down their right hand side anyway, I guess. Hi, so what do you think of this? Do you think Dams has lost the plot?
No, I'd just switch out Fofana for Cucurella personally and keep that.
And still play Mudryk left wing back?
Yeah, I think so. Because at the weekend, he was tracking back a lot. And he actually, I don't see it as an issue, to be fair. I think we have to.
I back it. All right, I'm here for it. Who would you then put at left centre back?
Cucurella.
Yeah, sorry, you said that already. So, can I do that? All right, that did not work how I wanted it to work. See, first time using this website, so bear with me. See, because I do like the pictures, guys. You know, that's why I'm like, the pictures are quite nice, make it a bit more like, you know, because Cranky Pants a minute ago, it's like the other one is iconic. And I hear that absolutely. And I appreciate that you find it iconic as well. But the pictures are quite nice. So, like, you know, the pictures are quite good. So, I mean, Dams, what would you say about that one? Because who would Chalobah be your right centre back?
No, I'd put Reece James at right centre back. That would be my pick. I know. I warned you, Laurenz. This will be wild, bro. I said off air, bro. This
no. I see.
Lineup's going to be.
No, my face was more that I might agree.
Yeah, I think one thing that stuck in my mind was when
only issue is if we're chasing a 2-0, I need Reece James higher. Like if it was like a first leg or we're going into the game with a 1-1 or something, then I would, because I wanted this for the last game. I wanted Reece James to right centre back last game, but you guys outvoted me. But because we need goals if we want to stand any chance of going through, and we have to go into the game still trying to achieve that, I think Reece needs to be at right wing back then. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because not that he's in good form, but he's still more likely to do anything going forward than most of the other players we have.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear your point, bro. But I'm just scared of Vinicius, bro. After like last week,
bro. I am
like honestly, and I'd rather have Reece there.
He scares me anyway. So because
I know you've said
that a few times now. You slightly disagree with us, but I think Reece was even worse than Fofana was in Madrid. I'll be honest. So to me, that was really bad. But unfortunately, it is 2v1 on that one. So I guess. We will stick with this way round, because would I really want to play Chalobah over Cucurella at left centre back? Not really, especially when the wing back is now Mudryk. It would, like, you know, at least Cucurella also understands the concept of being a left back. So, you know, you can kind of, it's a comfortable shift within formation that you can make, you know, with playing it like this, I guess. I mean, chat. What do you guys think? What do you like? Do you think we've gone absolutely mental playing Mudryk at left wing back? Like, in a way, I think it's absolutely mental. But Chilwell isn't available. Man. I don't want Cucurella at left wing back anyway. Lewis Hall hasn't played. Has he even played since? I think he's not played since that City game in the Cup in January. It's now 17th. Tomorrow, the 18th of April. So, like, just chucking Lewis Hall in. I'm not sure if that's the thing. And then who else am I going to play there? Right? Like, someone, I mean, yeah, maybe Cucurella did it on purpose, made sure he got a spot in the second leg. Maybe he's just way smarter than we think. But yeah, we're going to go for it, I guess. I mean, in goal, let's be honest, apparently, good old Mendy still has some sort of small injury anyway. I still don't understand why he's on the bench then. Just put Slonina or Bettinelli on the bench if Mendy isn't fit. But yeah, it will be Kepa. After the last game, you can't exactly say here's the issue either. But yeah, it will be that anyways. All right then. So with Reece James not having been mentioned in the back three, well, he has been mentioned but not been picked. I guess also once he's not there, you would play him at right wing back. I assume, Dams, no?
As in this formation, yeah. I think with what
once we've already not picked him in the back three, he then needs to be wing back. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, yeah, 100%, yeah, 100%. If not right centre back, then definitely right wing back. Yeah.
There you go. And obviously, Pies, you agree as well, no?
Yeah.
There you go.
Just out of curiosity, I think my choice at sort of that position, if it was sort of like what I was suggesting with Reece right centre back, I would have gone Ruben in that position. I just want to mention that. Yeah,
no, I would like if I put Reece James at right wing in the centre back positions, I would agree. I would do the same. Yeah, but yeah, like I say, Ruben's crossing ain't exactly it, is it? To be fair, so he does a lot of other good things, but crossing ain't his big thing. All right, then, boys. Who do we pick in midfield? He's been poor the last couple of games, as has everyone. But there he is. Can we update his picture, please? This app. But anyway, Enzo Fernandez will be one of them. I guess I can't shift him around. But who do you play next to him? Do you go back to cover? Do you go back to Zakaria? Like
Kante.
Oh, I forgot about Kante. My
I can think about Kante, bro.
He was injured for so long, I forgot he even existed.
True.
My apologies. Yeah, obviously. Okay, so this is straightforward. So are we all in agreement for this midfield then? Yeah, this midfield too? Yeah, no, okay, of course. Makes a lot of sense that we would do that. All right, my apologies, my days. Front three then. Pice, we know of your love for Felix. I assume you're sticking with Felix in the front three?
Yeah, not sure where though, because I would play Havertz tomorrow.
Yeah.
And obviously he's been. Yeah, I'd play Havertz up front.
Because you're saying a few times Havertz has played over here.
Yeah, like it kind of.
But Frank ain't gonna do that, is he? That was a Potter thing.
Yeah, Havertz, because at least then we got someone to hit from crosses.
Yeah.
Felix probably off the left.
And then who are you picking on the right?
Oh God, no! But I just think with Felix and Mudryk, like Jesus, if we get caught out, because Felix don't track back at all, so
neither does Cucurella, arguably.
Yeah, no, I don't know. With this, I just don't like. This is why I do think he's going to play a four at the back, because I don't really know.
You know what? I at least put Kante over there to help them a little bit.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. On the right, I mean, I know he's been shit, but I think it's got to be Sterling. I think just because of the big game factor, I think it has to be.
No, I would pick Pulisic.
Really? I thought Pulisic was terrible at the weekend.
He was, but was he worse than Sterling?
No, but like in a big Champions League game like Dortmund and like just a big game experience, I'm not sure.
You say that Sterling has never in his whole career turned up in a Champions League game. Pulisic won us a Champions League semi-final.
You are right, but I just think Sterling's more experienced and perhaps more ready for this game. I don't know. Pulisic hasn't played a lot, so
yeah. I mean, Boehly will be fuming if Sterling starts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll leave that one free for the time being.
I don't really care, to be honest. Like, play either, but if I had to pick,
but is it between those two? Yeah, there's no other shout. That I mean, not really.
Is there any other shout possible?
Mount.
Mount.
Oh, that's true. Mount could play. To be fair, yeah. Actually, I'd put Mount.
You know what? I would actually play Mount. You know.
Yeah, I'd put Mount.
Interesting.
Because I'm like,
he's played there so many times as well. If we're doing this.
Exactly. So it's like at least Havertz and Mount, they're used to each other in those positions. You could even argue play Pulisic instead of Felix purely for 2021 vibes. Mount hasn't played in a long time. When he's come on in the last two games, he looked like trying harder than everyone bar Gallagher. Literally everyone bar Gallagher. He looked like he tried harder pure in those 10 minutes each that he got. Okay, half an hour against them. Wait, did he even come on against Brighton, man? Yeah, he did. No, of course. Yeah. But for Zakaria later. Damish, would you agree with that front three, or would you pick Pulisic or Sterling or whatever?
Yeah, I'm definitely set on Felix and Havertz starting tomorrow. It's just that sort of right position where I'm a bit not sure. Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely between the three, Sterling, Pulisic, and Mount. I just edge Sterling, but I wouldn't mind Mount starting tomorrow, to be honest, just to see what you can do, I guess, coming back from injury, yeah.
There you go. There you go. You know what, boys? Because we're here and this didn't take us that long now, let's do a back four lineup as well, shall we? Is there a clear button somewhere?
I forgot about Hakim Ziyech as well. That's another one that's potential, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know about that one, bro.
It just came to my head and I was like, oh yeah, we got Ziyech as well.
All right, so I'll get rid of all of them. Bar Kepa, because obviously we already done that one, haven't we? Let me change to I mean, if it is a 4-back, Pice, are you expecting a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1?
4-3-3. I could probably guess his lineup pretty easy if it's this. So I've got his lineup in my head already.
But do you think it's that straightforward?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I could guess it definitely.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of it is certainly guessable. Okay, let's start with the centre backs. Centre back for you two, Thiago Silva and Fofana, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Thiago Silva, Fofana. What has happened?
It's just Silva and Kepa against Madrid, boys.
Hello, I'm playing 2 against 11 now.
My God, that Laurenz are broken up.
I pressed like save or something, I think. I was like, what's happened? I didn't even want to save it. No, go back, please. My days. I've been mugged right off. Anyway, so there you go. James and Cucurella, the fullbacks then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, because who else can we pick, really? Again, poor Enzo as the central midfielder?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Kante and Mount.
Yep.
So
Kante and Mount. Yeah. I think the only debate in this is the front three, but
and maybe if Mount is fit enough to actually start, you know?
Yeah.
Because Frank didn't start him the last 3 games. So.
At this point, I think Frank Lampard would just fucking start him, like, because, just because, like, at this point.
Exactly. I don't understand why earlier I could move the players and now I can't, but sure. Anyway. All right. Yeah, no, I do agree. I mean, maybe small chance with Kovacic still, but he's been so poor the last few games. I don't think he deserves to play in the team for money. So, front three then. I'll let you go first, Damish. And if we're now doing this as what we think Frank picks, what do you think? What front three do you think Frank picks?
God, this is hard because obviously he benched Felix as well. So,
but he probably benched him with rest for Madrid in mind. If we're honest.
Yeah, that's on. But then would he bench Havertz again? I don't know. I'm gonna say Mudryk, Felix, and Sterling. I think.
Right, what is your expected front three from Lampard?
It would probably be Felix, Havertz, Sterling. Is my prediction.
Don't know what's happening. Hello. That's not what I wanted, is it? Let me quickly refill that. I don't know, guys, because
hard.
Like for me though, like I don't care
he's
where
not played Sterling up front yet.
But he played their last game, bro.
Yeah, but only when he came on, though. Not like to start a game.
What, Sterling? He started, didn't he, Brighton?
Oh, did I say Sterling? Sorry, I meant Felix.
Oh yeah, Felix.
If I said Sterling, I meant Felix.
I think whatever happens tomorrow, like Mudryk's got to start.
I'm so sure Havertz will start, though, aren't you? Can't see Frank not starting Havertz after what you've seen the last 2 games.
Mudryk's got to play though, because he's got to build on that performance. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I agree. The question is, will Frank agree? That's what I'm less sure about.
Yeah,
I don't think he will agree. I think you. But like you saw the space in the first leg as well. Like I don't think.
I still think this is the only. What is happening? This website doesn't like me, does it? Apparently not. So
put him in, leave him.
That's what I wanted. So, guys, if you were wondering who we should sign,
there you go.
It's in Mecca. If I had to pick, I would probably do this. To be honest, I might not even start Felix because I think in a game like this, work rate is one of the most important things, and I think that's the last thing he gives you. And I don't trust him in front of goal anyway. So what, in a game where all that matters is work rate and being clinical, Felix is one of the last players I want in the pitch, really. But we can't put Mount on a wing here. I don't want Sterling on the wing. And is Pulisic, Felix, does it make much of a difference, especially both right-footed on that side? You might as well leave Felix in there, I guess. Do you know what I mean? It's... this is a tough one. I also don't know why. Come on, just load the rest of the fucking thing,
But
man.
then again, Mason Mount has played left wing under Frank Lampard before, so...
I mean, he has done that. That is very true. No, I don't know. You know what? Just to make myself feel better, I'm going to bring the other one back up because I find this a little bit terrifying. You know? Can I move them? In this formation, I can apparently move them. What is happening? I'm so confused by what this app is doing to me. It's literally screwing me. Yeah.
It's fun watching it, bro. I can't lie.
Sorry?
It's fun watching it. I can't lie.
I can imagine, to be fair. So I hope you're all having a good time, ladies and gentlemen. Watching me struggle here. We decided Kante over there, all right? And James here. Like, I would rather if Frank picked this than the other one. I won't lie. Because, like, if we don't, if none of us are happy with any of the winger choices anyway, then you might as well not play it, right?
This works as well, to be fair. I mean, let's just see.
And I still think, man, like, people know so well that I'm not a fan of the back three in general, but I can only go back to it. Just please watch the game against Brighton, and you can so easily see that our players just don't know what to do in this formation. In the 3-4-3, as much as we haven't played it all the time, and we played all sorts of different things, they will still have certain patterns, certain automatisms in their literally muscle memory, but also in just what's automated within them, that in this formation, except Mudryk being left wing back, obviously, they still have an idea of what to do. And I just do not think they have an idea of what else to do. Like in any different formation, the 3-5-2, sure, but we're not going to score 2 goals in this. Now, I understand that a lot of you are laughing at Mudryk and left wing back, and I get that. In a way, I'm laughing at it too. But again, who do you play if Chilwell's injured, right? Like, not injured, suspended. Like, you play Cucurella at left wing back and play Chalobah left centre back. I mean, again, we have to score 2 goals at least.
Yeah. Have to go.
So, like, what is the whole point? Like, and if if it doesn't work, we can just change it quickly anyway. Like, if we need to, and also, like, you know, if I can shift it around, if it lets me, this is so easy to just shift to a midfield 3. I mean, I guess Felix, maybe it would make more sense to have it like this then, to shift it easier, but it shifts so easy to either 4-2-3-1 or a midfield 3. It's so easy when you play these players that it's almost like you're basically playing both formations at once, and you just see what works, and then you can you don't need to make a single sub, and you can change the formation in game. And, you know, we don't want to waste subs on potential formation changes because that makes Frank less likely to make the necessary changes. So, yeah, like I totally understand why no one would want Mudryk at wingback, and I understand even why Jack Player wants. He says no thanks. There you go. So yeah, that's what I'll say. Yeah, we'll have to go with this anyway. I don't know what else we can go for really. This has been a shorter stream than usual. I don't know why we went through things as so much quicker than we usually do. Let me see. Is there any major other news that we still need to discuss? Not really. Do you have? Is there any last thoughts you have ahead of tomorrow? Whether it's in terms of the Boehly stuff, in terms of the Sterling criticized stuff, do you also think that will have an impact in terms of, you know, Boehly, if it's true, do you think that will at all be in Frank's mind? If Boehly stood there in the dressing room and singling out Sterling for criticism, do you think that will play a role in Frank's mind at all, Pice?
I think Lampard would feel like it's more likely to motivate him to do better, but I think he could be wrong.
Yeah,
I think he could be wrong with that thought. It's just so hard. But I think if you look at obviously the context of it going into the games, I don't think he's going to single out someone that didn't play the game. Like, I think it would have been a discussion about the game. So, and I don't know whether it was Boehly or Igbali or what. So I do think it probably was Sterling, looking at the lineup and who we bought and that sort of thing, if you line it up. But yeah, no, I think Frank would be like, oh, it's probably feel like it would motivate him, but disgruntled figure in training, like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just a shit vibe. Like, I just feel like nothing. I don't know, but I don't know if Lampard can get them up for this. Like we saw in the first leg, like they're going to be completely dejected knowing they're 2 goals down. So, like, yeah, is what it is. I don't see any way that we come back, to be honest with you, unless we get. If we get a goal and like if we go 1-0 up in the first 30 minutes, I think like the roof could lift and it could just be a completely different game. But
if we get a goal and we make it 1-0, everything's possible instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. But
yes,
yeah, no, it's absolutely that. I mean, Damesh, I see a few people in the chat here saying, this Boehly thing has to stop next season, cannot be undermining the manager next season. Boehly undermining the manager. See, Frank said in the press conference, and he seemed honest about it. Now, obviously, he could just say what he knows is necessary to say. Otherwise, he's probably getting sacked tomorrow. But Frank said he has no problem with it. Like I say, Frank also said as a player, he actually enjoyed it when the owners turned up. And if anything, he hinted at the fact that in his opinion, it didn't really happen often enough. So I wouldn't, if Frank says he has no issue with the owner saying his piece and Frank himself saying his own piece, if Frank doesn't have an issue with it, I don't think you should as fans, or we should as fans, see it as Boehly undermining Frank. Because we don't even know, maybe Boehly asked Frank if it's okay. We don't know that. Unlikely, but we don't know it. And Igbali. I know we always mention Boehly because he's the face of it, but yeah, we should always say Boehly and Igbali at least. But because I don't see it changing. Do you, Damesh, in terms of that Boehly stops doing this? So because if he's done it now, I don't like. Maybe it won't be so regular anymore once things have settled down a little bit. I'm sure he probably won't be able to be at every game because, like I say, he still owns the Dodgers and has some other shit to do and lives on the other side of the world and in LA. Because not just America, he doesn't live in New York, which is 6 hours away. He lives in LA, which is like 9-10 hours away. It's a long ass time away. It can't be here all the time. Although next season we only play 1 game a week, so that makes it easier to be there all the time, I guess. But what do you think of that? Like, do you think it's a bad thing if the owner is always there? Do you think it shows passion? Do you think there's a fine line where it's like there's a too much, but there's also it's okay if you do it a certain amount type thing?
Yeah, I think you can only do it a certain amount because if I was a player in the dressing room, I wouldn't really want the owner coming in every game, like sort of grilling me. That's just my opinion. Right? I'd rather, as I mentioned before.
Well, but he only will grill them if they keep losing. So once they start winning, he won't grill them. So that's it under their own control.
I mean, like if it turns out that we go through tomorrow somehow, then yeah, like fair play. I'll hold my hands up and say, yeah, Boehly did the right thing. But I think all this interference is what sort of got Boehly into his issues in the first place. I think, which is why I feel strongly about the owner not being as invested in sort of the team talks and the dressing room as much, and leave that to sort of like whoever the manager is or the managing staff as well. Because yeah, I think that's just me personally. I'd find that really uncomfortable as a player, seeing the owner after a while. But yeah, no, there you go. If it works, then fair play. Like if it rallies the players up for tomorrow, then yeah.
Fair play. It's a tough one because I don't know. Now at Bayern, this is certainly a common thing that the higher ups, even if it's not owners in their sense, do that. Now you could argue, that also brings their own issues, but I mean, they are reasonably successful. Joseph says Frank is not going to speak against the owner, Laurenz. Partly I agree. At the same time, it's like, well, what are they going to do? Sack him?
Do you guys think Lampard actually grills the players or shouts at the players? Or do you know?
Oh yeah, I think he absolutely rips them to pieces. One thing that I think we should mention as well. We obviously the highlight of this news about Boehly and what's in the title and thumbnail as well is that he apparently grilled a new signing who we assume is most likely Sterling. But according to Frank and according to the report by Matt Law, it wasn't just a grilling them speech. It was also a very much so motivational speech, saying, yeah, it's been embarrassing until now, but try to get them going as well. And so in a way, again, where I'm like, it's bad, but it's you can't exactly say, I mean, I don't know how much in terms of big speech and motivational speech is done so far if Kepa tells us he's there every game. But you can't exactly say the way we've done things so far this season has worked. So maybe Boehly shouting at them, you might as well try it, you know? Like, you know, in a way, it's like trying Mudryk at wingback. You might as well try. What else have we got to lose at this point?
It's
You
our
might
most
as well
important game
try
of the
Boehly
season
shouting at the
tomorrow.
players. Sorry?
I was just saying it's our most important game of the season tomorrow. So just why not? Just throw everything at it. Like, try something new. Our season's pretty much dead and buried. Just
I still hope it was like Barley though, not Boehly. Someone said earlier, why do I think this negatively about Boehly? Nothing to do, well, partly to do with him being American, but more the fact that he's short, white, old, has an awful haircut, like doesn't understand football that much, you know, doesn't exactly look like a very intimidating person when I compare it to Barley, because someone asked that earlier. That's why I prefer it to be Barley, because they have neither of them have equally much of a clue of football. Although I'm not sure if people actually are aware of this. Boehly lived in London for a while and apparently watched our football at the time and watched Chelsea at the time. So, like, you know, maybe there's a bit more of an idea than people give him credit for. But he also said 4-4-3 is what he wants to play. So, like, you know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he meant 3-4-3 and included the goalie in the back three or something. You know, I'll give him that benefit of the doubt. No, but I just think he made an accidental mistake. But why should stop being an argument? No, in terms of intimidation, being a small, white, fat man, I think makes a difference, you know. Speaking from experience, even though I'm not small. But yeah, it's just living in places where everyone is white and small, you know. But anyway, I just think Iqbali is just a much more respectable person. That's why I think. That's where I'm getting from. You're saying you're fat? Well, you only see my face, boys. But yeah, let's finish it off, even though it's a shorter stream than usual. Let's give a score prediction. I know, like, none of us are really expecting much, but where are you going to go with, Dums?
Oh, I want to believe in us, man. I really do, but just nothing. There's no evidence to back it, man. Like, I'm just going purely off like my love for the club and my support of the club, to be honest. So, I'm gonna give two predictions. Yeah, one realistic one and one what I hope.
Yeah, all right.
Right, my hopeful prediction is a 3-0 to Chelsea, and we all know that's not gonna happen. So realistically, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Real Madrid win.
All right, and the other one.
Oh no, I said 3-0 before.
Sorry. My bad. All right. 2-1 Madrid, 3-0 for us. Pice, are you also going to give two predictions? One realistic one kind of what your heart says?
No, I'm going to give a realistic one. If he plays 4-3-3 and we press like we did last game against Brighton, I'm going to go 4-0 Real Madrid.
4?
Yep.
Mate, I think we're lucky if they only score 4 if we do that, if I'm honest. Cucurella at left back as well, not even Chile.
If tomorrow's game goes if we give them even half the chances we give Brighton, mate, it's finished in the first 20 minutes. Finished. People don't realise how many good players they have. Not even up front. Like, if you give Modric, Kroos space to shoot, Valverde, mate, it's over. It's over. I have to be realistic. I'll go 2-1 Madrid if it's in a back three. I don't think we're going to win. I just don't see how we win. So, yeah.
I will say 3-1. I will say 2-0 after 90, 3-1 after 120, and then we lose on penalties.
My heart rate for that would absolutely blow through the roof.
Imagine, like that is probably the worst possible outcome, isn't it? Because in a way it would be great, but then if we take it all that way to penalties and then we lose on penalties,
I'd rather get battered than that happens.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I just feel like it would be such an ask from us to do what I just said: 2-0 after 90, 3-1 after 120. To then, I guess it depends on how it goes. If they get a 2-1 and we score a 3-1, maybe we're more likely to win pens. But if we're 3-0 up and they get one back to take it to pens, but it's Kepa, and I do back Kepa on pens. Nah, you know what? I might as well. I've gone this far, 3-1 after 120. We're going to win on pens. Do you know what I mean?
Who's scoring for us?
All right. Who's going to pens? Enzo. Reece has probably gone off injured by then after extra time, so not Reece. So Enzo, maybe Mason. If he starts, probably not him either. Havertz, probably. Felix, maybe. Aspi. Maybe he's brought Aspi on to take Wentz. Kept by himself. Like that Carabao Cup final.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, forget that.
Bro, you can't ask me that. I don't know because who knows who's going to be on the pitch by that point, right? So, how can I say? But yeah, I think it's about time we round this one out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here, and I appreciate you all. If you are, please do subscribe. If you haven't already, on the road to 20,000 subscribers, we just hit 17, so I appreciate that very much. Hit the like button. We massively appreciate it. It helps me spread these streams and videos out to more people, which is how us content creators grow. So please, whichever stream you go to, whether it's mine in the future, other people's streams, always hit a like because it really helps us out more than you guys think. And it's literally one click of a button. It doesn't cost you any money or any time, really. So it would be massively appreciated. So that would be great. Maybe Pulisic scores a pen, yeah, absolutely. Fazid. Sorry for butchering that name. But yeah, the last game that matters tomorrow, probably, unless a real miracle happens tomorrow, and then we get another 2, which will be our last 2 important games. Because even if we beat Madrid, we are most certainly not beating Man City over 2 legs. That's for damn sure. So, you know, but hey, you know, maybe another one. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Shout out to Pice and Damesh for coming on. Shout out to Lewis for coming on. Please follow Damesh on his Twitter. You can see it on the screen and down in the description. Like I said, subscribe to Lewis's channel. And please, of course, check out Pice's website, London's First, and follow him on Twitter for all your latest Chelsea news. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Upwards and onwards. And we'll see you next time.